What's up, everyone? Happy Saturday, and I'm just so excited to be here with you all today. Sorry for the little bit of delay. We had some technical difficulties, but we are live. We're streaming on YouTube and also on in the Facebook group as well. So, what I want you to do first, as we're waiting for people to kind of trickle in, why don't you put hashtag live if you're watching live, and then hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. And then after that, I want you to also put down where you're from. So if you're in the United States, put down what state you're from. If you're from somewhere international, put the country where you're from. I love to hear and see where everyone's coming from in terms of where they're watching this live stream. So why don't you do that? So hashtag live if you're watching this live, hashtag replay if you're watching the replay, and then also where you're from. Now I'm gonna just check really quick about or check the YouTube group or the Facebook group to make sure that that's working properly. And it looks like it does. Audio is working. If you could hear me, also put that in the chat as well. That also helps me quickly know if everything's working out. So super excited to be here with you all today. If you don't know me, my name is Austin Dorman. I'm a certified funnel builder and ClickFunnels ambassador. And today we're going to talk about something really cool and special today. So it's going to be super awesome. But just want to give it another maybe minute or so for people to join in. And then if you're not also part of the Facebook group, you could just search Sales Funnels with Austin Dorman, and then you'll be able to find the group, request access, and I could accept you. So that's where we live stream in the group and also on YouTube. And it's also a good chance, good opportunity for me to connect with you, help you out in terms of your own like business and ClickFunnels journey, and just help you kind of get unstuck if there's like any issues. So it's going to be super awesome. Okay. So it looks like everything's working out. Why don't we get started now? And what I want to do first is just kind of talk about some like cool announcements that's been happening in the whole like ClickFunnels funnel building space for right now. And then we'll jump into what we're actually going to be talking about. And so I'm just going to bring this over, and then let me present it. Okay, this is awesome news that I saw yesterday. It dropped in my email inbox, and so if you're not subscribed to Russell Brunson and the ClickFunnels, it might actually be his other. I think it's his other company called Prime Mover. So if you're not subscribed to his newsletter, this is what he dropped. So he's going to share his last secret, where he spent over $40 million to acquire a software company, which is, to me, that's like mind blowing. It's like, wow, $40 million. That's like a ton of money. And so he's sharing his last secret. He spent $40 million to acquire a company, and he said today I'm going to let you white label it for free, the funnels, the software, the sales letters, the upsells, and more, so you can launch your own SaaS and keep 100% of the sales in less than 48 hours. So that's the purpose of white labeling, is basically you take whatever the product, the software is, and then you can rebrand it to be whatever it is for you, and then you could sell it off and get 100% of the profit. So that's what he's going to be talking about. The live stream for this is on it's November 26th, so that's a Tuesday, and it's at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So it is a free training where he's going to show you real-time demonstrations of his new platform and how you can begin to leverage it to earn 100% of the sales. Now, when you click on this, it's gonna ask you to sign an NDA, um, and then you can just put in it's like a standard pop-up where you just input your first name or your full name and then your email address, and then you could register for this event. So super excited for this. I'm going to drop the link really quick. I'm going to drop it in the Facebook group. And then if you're watching this from YouTube, I'll put in the descriptions as well. But essentially, this is my affiliate link that you could click on, and then you could register for this event. So let me do that really quick for our friends in the Facebook group. Okay, fantastic. So, like I mentioned, if you're watching this in the Facebook group, you can just go to the comments. You can find my affiliate link, and then you could go register for this. And then if you're watching this from YouTube, I'll have it in the description section as well. So that's just something that wanted to bring to your attention because this is new, it's time sensitive, and it's really cool opportunity as well. So let me stop sharing my screen for right now. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about workflows inside ClickFunnels 2.0. And workflows is basically like the backend automation once someone at least does like an action inside your funnel. Now, if you don't know who I am, do want to take like a quick second to just reintroduce myself, and then we could jump right in. So my name is Austin Dorman. I'm a certified funnel builder and ClickFunnels ambassador, and I help businesses become funnel ready. And so basically, what that means is helping them become ready to start using funnels. And so I want to do this without the overwhelm, the anxiety, the stress of like building funnels and whatnot. So that's why I have a YouTube channel, a Facebook group to help people learn how to build funnels and how to basically leverage everything that's inside ClickFunnels. And so basically, there's a three-part framework that I have. So it's strategy, mindset, and technology. We'll talk about the other parts of the framework inside strategy and mindset, but right now for technology, there's basically funnels and AI that we're going to leverage, and then integrations and automations. So right now, we're going to talk about automations, automating processes inside of your funnels, so that it could be um, so basically it'll just be super smooth, super easy for you in terms of getting people through a process and either helping them ascend the value ladder or help them buy more stuff from you. So why don't I share my screen one more time? Let me get my demo count. Okay, fantastic. So if you haven't watched the past two lives, we talked about the lead squeeze funnel and we built out the opt-in page of the lead squeeze funnel for the first live, and then we also in another live we built the thank you page. So this is a two-part funnel. So someone opts in, and then someone goes to the thank you page where they get either purchase additional products or like look at other parts of your funnel. Now, with workflows, maybe just to take a step back, workflows is basically the backend automation of what happens. So, if we go over here on the right hand side of the funnel with this opt-in, we could add or it says add a new or an existing workflow like by clicking here. So we're going to click here, and so if you have an existing workflows, you could select it here. For right now, we're just going to create a new workflow, and then we'll just call it test. Now, that's just the name of the workflow, and now we have to associate event type. So basically, what's going to trigger this workflow is basically what's going to happen. So if we go down here under the drop-down menu, there's a few different options. It says appointments, appointments scheduled, and then there's calendar events, contact register. But you have to, there's a prerequisite basically for this one. If we keep going in, opt-in, order, successful purchase, page view, subscription, either if they churn, downgraded, or upgraded. And it looks like those are the only ones. So for right now, what we want to do is we want to create a workflow that is triggered based off an opt-in, because this is a lead squeeze funnel and we want people to opt into our funnel in order to go to the thank you page to give them the ebook, the um, maybe ebook, uh, maybe report template, so forth, on the thank you page. So we're gonna name it as test. We're gonna have the event type as opt-in, and then we're gonna click create workflow. So that's the trigger. It's for opt-in. It's for this funnel, lead squeeze funnel live stream, and then we have it for this page, the squeeze page, and then right here, anonymous contacts allowed. You could change that if you want to. To like for me, it's like I would probably just take it off. Basically, this says allow contacts with no email to run through the workflow. So we want the email address for them to go through the workflow. So we're going Oh, looks like we have to unlock it. We could uncheck that and then save changes. So that's the trigger, the workflow trigger. What's going to happen? What action is going to trigger this workflow? Now, underneath it, there's two things. So you have end of workflow, and then you have this plus button right here. So we're going to add this plus button, and what we want to do is start adding and building out our workflow. So over here on the right hand side, there's a whole bunch of different options that you could do. So with these ones, these are grayed out because you have to set up the message hub, which is basically for like sending out messages through ClickFunnels. So but if you had that set up, you could send message hub messages. You could do awaiting response. For send, you could send email or you could send a digital asset or send an asset. And then right here for workflows, you could pause the workflow and basically hold customers at a. It's almost like how I describe it to people is basically like it's a step where you just hold people until you want them to go through the the workflow or the next process of the workflow. And then you have until triggered, conditional split path. So basically splitting path on two conditions. You could do a split test as well. So split your workflow into two paths based on a percentage of the traffic. So this is really good if you're basically doing like split testing. You could do delay, hold them for a certain amount of period, and then maybe just kind of going through these a little bit quicker. Calendar event delay, trigger another workflow. You could end it, or you could do a conditional goal. Now, for the internal ones, these are the ones that I like a lot. So you could tag the contact. You could do add or remove contact custom attributes. You can add nodes, notify, create an affiliate, create and remove an opportunity. So that's the opportunity feature inside of ClickFunnels 2.0. You can enroll them or unenroll them in a course, and then you could grant or revoke community access. So that's if you have the community feature. Now, there are other steps that you could do inside the workflow, like third-party integrations or webhooks. Basically, if you're using like other softwares, that's where you would go. So that's kind of an overview of everything on the right hand side. So I definitely recommend you just taking the time to go through this video and then also look at all the different steps inside the workflow and like understand which ones are like most important for you. We're going to touch on quite a few of these. We won't touch on all of them just because of we want this workflow to be like relatable to a lead squeeze funnel, and so it may not be like exact in terms of, let's say for example, like using like the community feature or like unenroll or enrolling them into a course, but we just want to make sure that it's like relatable to like your needs. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me and or drop a comment as well, and more than happy to help you out. So what we want to do with this workflow is the first thing that I like to do is I like to tag the contact. And so tagging the contact basically just helps you separate and segment your contacts. So we have these actions. You can add a tag or remove a tag. So we're going to just click add a tag. And then if you have an existing one, it'll be listed right here. So we'll have it as funnel hacker. So basically what I like to do with contact tags is I like it to tag the funnel that they went through. So for this one, it'll be lead squeeze funnel live stream. Then I could click enter and it creates a new tag. And then also something descriptive about them. So this is where, for example, if we were targeting maybe like tax or CPA firms, then I would have something uh, like tax firm or or a CPA firm or something like that. So something like something descriptive, um, basically related to that customer. So for right now, we have funnel hacker, which is kind of our who we're targeting, people that are inside the ClickFunnels community. And then right here, this is the name of the funnel, lead squeeze funnel live stream. Then we're going to click create step. So that's the first part is I like to create the tags. And then the next part is I like to be contacted. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go up here. We're going to do could be it'll be notify right here. So basically, what happens is when someone goes through this funnel, you could select team members to be notified, and then you could have a message down here below. So we're going to use these merge tags to create the message. So we're going to say, maybe for the message, we'll say, "Hey Austin, um, hey Austin, you have a new opt in. Here are the details." And then you could do the tags. So what we want is the contact's first name, contact's last name. Make sure there's like a space, and then maybe their email address as well. That's usually what I like to do. Now with these tags, this is kind of interesting too. So you could have contact custom attributes. So these ones down here. So we have contact profession too. So you could watch my other YouTube channel about YouTube video about creating contact attributes, and then they would be associated here under tags. Basically, it's like additional information that you want to keep track in like an easy way. And then for the notification type, you could do email or notification. So this notification is inside ClickFunnels. This one, email, this is like you're actually going to get an email. So with this one, select team members to notify. You'll just select the team members based off of who has access inside your ClickFunnels account. So we're going to click create step. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen really quick and present. Okay, so we have that. Then we'll click create step. Okay, so just to kind of recap for right now, when someone opts in, this is when this workflow is triggered. It's going to add a tag, and then it's going to notify me in this example, or you. For right here, these are some stats, and these are actually pretty important. So here is where they are. So how many people are in this step, and then how many people were in this step. So right now, what's going to happen is when someone opts in, it's going to go here, tag them, and then it's going to go here to notify them, and then it's going to end the workflow. So it's going to be basically like 0 was here, 0 was here, and then that's that. Okay, so after you have them tagged, after you're notified, that's when I like to send out the first email. So if we did, let's say, send email right here, and we'll just use one of the templates. We'll just choose this one. And let me stop sharing my screen. Okay, and let's reshare it. Okay, so it's going to be, we have it as booking confirmation. Basically, this is the first email that you're going to send out. Probably with this lead squeeze funnel, it'll probably be just like a thank you for opting in. Here's a link to download the ebook or the template or something. So that's probably like what it would look like inside of the message. For right now, we're just going to leave that as booking confirmation, or maybe we'll just call this email. We'll call it thank you email number 1. Actually, we'll just call it thank you email. And then you'll just want to make sure that you have your email settings all set up for this like address and the reply to. And we'll click create. And then, oh, this is actually super helpful. So right here, we have the send email up here at the top, but we want to actually here down at the bottom. So if you hover over this step inside the workflow, you could click and drag, and then put it at the bottom. And then there's some additional stats just because this is an email, so you could still show who was here, and then how many was sent out, how many opened, how many clicks, how many unique opens. So basically, unique opens are um, unique people that open the email, and then opens are like if one person opened it multiple times, it's going to count it. So this is looking pretty good. So after this first email, we probably want like a delay. So a delay is basically you hold customers inside this step for a certain period, and then it'll release them. So let's say like in one day, Oh, this is actually pretty cool too. So there's relative. So after one day or maybe minute, hour, weeks, months, so forth, that's when you're going to send out an email. You could also do days of the month or days of the week. So start time, day of the week, and then time zone, or you could do day of the month. For right now, probably for most of these like workflows, you'll just want it as relative, meaning that after that first email gets sent out, they're going to be in this delay step. Usually, it'll probably just be like maybe a day, and then you'll start doing like your email sequence. So let's do create. Okay, awesome. So that's what we have right now. We have adding the tags, you notify me, or the workflow notifies me, sends out the first email, and then the delay. And then that's probably at this point, this is probably where you want to start doing your like email sequence. And if you read .com secrets, there's like a specific email sequence of like what to do in terms of like what to do, sending out like day one, day two, day three, day four. It's like a nurturing system to try and like basically help people get to know you better and like learn what you do. So that's what I would do. So at this point, we're gonna start doing kind of like a series of like send the email delay, send the email delay, send the email delay, and that's because that's our email sequence. So for right now, we're just gonna click choose, and then we'll say this is email number one, then email number one, click create, and then let's do that delay again. Instead of a 5-part email, we'll just do 3 because it's basically just me doing the same thing. Email number 2, create. Oh, and then let's do email number 3. And then this is important. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put them, we're going to actually use the pause step right here. So let's say, for example, you create this workflow, you're new to ClickFunnels, and you're like, well, I don't know if this is going to be like full workflow. Like I may add stuff a little bit later, but I just don't know like when, so to speak. So for right now, if we kind of like recap this, it's going to trigger the workflow when someone opts in. It's going to add the tags funnel hacker and lead squeeze funnel live stream. And then it's going to notify me with the contact information because of those tags. And then it's going to send an email directly to the person. And so after that, it's going to delay for one day. And then it's going to basically start our email sequence. So it's going to send email number 1. We're going to delay. It's going to send email number 2, delay for one day, and then it's going to send email number 3, and then it's going to pause. So pause basically means that it's going to just store these customers inside of this step right here. So this might start building up just depending on how many people opt in, but we want people to just be held there because we're not sure exactly what's going to happen like in terms of our workflow. Like are we going to add more steps inside of our workflow? Are we going to do, something else? So let's say, for example, we're like, hey, actually, we want to like send another email. It's going to be another part of our like email sequence. So you could send, another email right here. And then at that point, you could go to the settings of the pause and then you can release them. So releasing is basically like instead of being stored in that pause step, it's going to start continuing on in the workflow. So if you're still like kind of hesitant of like, well, I don't know like what parts we need exactly, that's when I would say just put another pause at the end. So then that way the workflow doesn't end and then people are still like held inside of the workflow. So that's what I would recommend doing. um in terms of, like if I was building out a lead squeeze funnel uh with a workflow attached to it. Now I do want to kind of touch on some of these other ones. So contact custom attribute. This is actually a pretty cool one. So we have add attributes, and then you could add a new attribute or use an existing one, and then what the attribute value is as well. So this might be good if you're trying to just get like more details about the customers. So if you know like exactly who your customer base is, you could say, "Hey, I want to add an attribute." Maybe you create a new attribute, and then you could also assign it an attribute value, saying like, "Hey, um, like profession, for example, like add attribute, maybe it's profession, which isn't like a by default field inside of the contact record inside ClickFunnels, and then you could say like CPA or something like that if you were targeting CPAs. Let's look at a couple more that you might do. This one actually would be a really cool one to do. So this is conditional split path. So just depending on what happens inside of your workflow, there's a yes or no section. So if they do an action where it is basically yes is the logic answer, then it'll just go here. And then if it's no, you could go here. So this would probably be good for example, if you're like selling something and if someone successfully purchased the product, then they would go here under yes and then no. If it's like and basically if you want to try and get them back up and going again, you'll send like maybe a series of emails. So that might be something. Um, let's see. This one you may use this until triggered. So pause a contact workflow, run until a specific event is triggered. So that might be something interesting that you may want to look into. And then also, oh, this is actually a good one as well. So trigger another workflow. So let's actually delete this. Let's delete both. Let's do trigger another workflow. And then let's say this is maybe it was like a challenge funnel. I have a lot of challenge funnel workflows kind of set up. So let's say it was just like this one for right now. So we'll create a step. So what happens is they're going to run through this workflow and then it's going to trigger another workflow um, for them to like go into. And if we go over here, you could add notes. Notes is actually helpful as well if you want to maybe say like, hey, they opted in, um, just so that you have like more additional information on the customer record. Um, and then these would also be helpful as well if you have a course or community. So I'd just kind of keep that in mind. But that's essentially what happens in terms of like what a workflow is, how to create one inside ClickFunnels. And this is just kind of a basic workflow. So I don't want to kind of overwhelm you on like all the different steps and stuff like that. But this is actually a good workflow just to get started on. Like I mentioned, I would probably recommend doing like a 5-part email sequence, just like how it's modeled inside a .com secret. So that's something to just keep in mind of. But for right now, this is actually like a pretty good one if you're just doing like a simple lead squeeze funnel, want to send out emails to people and kind of go from there. But that is everything for today that I just want to cover. I did set up a poll inside of our Facebook group just to say like, hey, what do people want to learn this week? And workflows and automations was the top one. So that's exciting. And I'll send out another poll inside the Facebook group, just asking people, hey, what do you want to learn? Whether it's building funnels, maybe it's more of the tech side of ClickFunnels as well, or just like something, maybe like a different training. I'm open to like other marketing trainings as well. So that's it for today. We talked about ClickFunnel workflows, what they are, and how to create a basic workflow based off of the lead squeeze funnel inside of our ClickFunnels account. And like I mentioned, if you're watching this halfway through and watching it to the end, my name is Austin Dorman. I'm a certified funnel builder and ClickFunnels ambassador. I help businesses become funnel ready without the overwhelm of the tech. And so today we just talked about leveraging tech inside of our ClickFunnels account by using automations, which is super exciting. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, please drop comments, whether it's in the Facebook group or in on the YouTube channel, so I can help you out And so you can get going and start using workflows inside of your funnel, which is super exciting. But until then, we'll see you next time. Like I mentioned, my name's Austin Dorman, and we'll see you soon.